Anger seems to be the common denominator among Chilean protesters who've been on the streets for 5 weeks. But not all express that anger the same way. Some do it by going into battle against riot police. Armed with stones, sticks, and even Molotov cocktails, they describe themselves as the front line of defense.
I'm here to defend our people against police repression. That's who we've come to fight.
The vast majority are young, like Juan and Pedro, not their real names.
It's unfair that we've had to resort to these extremes to be heard. We protested peacefully for years, and only now that there's upheaval does the state take notice.
Both are 17-year-old students from a public secondary school who want to go to university, but both of their parents are still struggling to pay off their own studies.
My mother is 39 and she still owes $9,000. It's terrible. Education, water, health, all of a person's basic needs are a business here, and that's why we're so angry.
They say they only use violence against security forces, not to destroy property. But there is another type of protester, the kind that justifies, for example, the looting of this wholesale supermarket. And not just looting, but also other types of destruction and violence as a means to an end. According to the government, criminal gangs and drug traffickers are responsible for around 30% of the widespread damage to public and private property. But who are the rest? Many are young men and women from Santiago's poor neighborhoods, where anger has been simmering for decades. Mario and Maria, also not their real names, describe themselves as radical opponents of Chile's socially unequal system.
It's a system that makes us eat the crumbs while the upper class accumulates more wealth. All that anger, that marginalization. People look down on us because we live on the periphery. They distrust you. No matter how hard you work or try, you're shut out.
Maria wanted to study architecture, but instead says she was lucky just to get a job as a security guard in a posh uptown building. Now, they say, it's time for the political and economic establishment to feel fear.
They need to be shaken from their comfort zone. They better not think that we'll just go and march down the street with signs and go back to sleep in our beds. Let them feel afraid. It's a direct action to force social change.
They know they risk prison if they're caught destroying property or attacking police. But like a great many of those who vent their rage like this, they seem convinced that as things stand now, they have little to lose. Lucia, Newman, Jazeera, Santiago.